Good morning. Today is the 30th of June and this is the second day of Eid ul Adha. So Eid Mubarak to all of you. This is video number 390 and in today's video I am going to explain the current situation of the total public debt of Pakistan. Let me start with what is public debt. Public debt is a debt owed by the government serviced out of consolidated fund and debts owed to the International Monetary Fund. Government in this definition means both federal government and provincial governments. We may also like to see the trend of the total public debt in Pakistan, which is in billions of Pakistani rupees, and in this table we can see that as of March 2030 the total volume of domestic debt is 35,076 billion, that is 35 trillion rupees, and the total volume of the external debt is 24 trillion or 24,171 billion Pakistani rupees. And if we combine both of these, then the total public debt constitutes 59 trillion Pak rupees or 59,247 billion rupees. We can also calculate total debt of the government of Pakistan, which comes to 54 trillion or 54,392 billion rupees, and the definition of this is given here. The current GDP of Pakistan in current market price is 84,658 billion rupees, and in terms of US dollar this is 283.8 billion US dollars. A question is why there has been increase in total public debt. Now there are a number of reasons. Apart from financing of fiscal deficit, the depreciation of Pakistani rupees vis-a-vis US dollar by around 35% led to a significant increase in the stock of external public debt when converted into Pakistani rupees. The main factors behind the increase in total debt during the first 9 months of the ongoing fiscal year vis-a-vis corresponding period of last year are presented in the following table, and we can see that there is an increase in total public debt, and that is equal to 10,005 billion rupees, which comes to 10 trillion Pak rupees, as against 4,517 billion rupees last year in July-March fiscal year 22. Out of this, the federal primary deficit or surplus is 48 billion, interest on debt is 3,582 billion in fiscal year 23, and the currency depreciation or appreciation and other, that includes 7,170 in the current fiscal year, where it was 1,760 in the previous year. There has been a decrease in the government cash balances by 699 billion rupees as against 409 billion rupees last year. Here we can see trend of total debt from 1970 to fiscal year 2013 in billion rupees, and there are abbreviations like we have here. And in this figure we can see the trend of the domestic debt, and there is external debt, and we can see that these have been increasing from the year 2009 and 10, and now the domestic debt is about 35,000, more than 35,000 billion, Similarly, the external debt is more than 20,000 billion rupees, or you can say 20 trillion Pak rupees. Here in the lower diagram, we can see the profile of the total public debt, and the right hand side shows rupees in billion, where the right hand side shows as percent of GDP. So the total public debt constitutes more than 70% of the GDP. So this is very alarming. Pakistan is caught up in a very vicious circle of total public debt, which also includes domestic debt as well as the external debt. Domestic debt comprises of three main categories, and these category includes number one, public debt, and these also include medium and long-term loans. Then we have floating debt, and that is of short term, and finally we have unfunded debt, primarily made up of various instruments available under National Savings Scheme. In line with the Public Debt Act of 1944, the government issues three broad types of marketable securities for purposes of borrowing, and these include treasury bills, which are known as T-bills, Pakistan investment bonds, and government Ijara Sukuk funds. So T-bills are short-term securities and have maturities of 12 months or less at the time of issuance. Pakistan investment bonds are longer term securities and have maturities of more than 12 months at the time of issuance. PIBs pay the entire face value of on maturity and also pay profit at regular intervals till maturity. Pakistan investment bonds can be further categorized as fixed rate PIBs and floating rate PIBs, and the detail is given in this table. Here in this table we can see the treasury bill auction profile of fiscal year 23 in billions, and there are four types of information available here. That is the target, and this is the participation, and this is the acceptance, and this is the maturity. Similarly, this is for the period October to December, and for the January March, these are the target, the acceptance, the these are target, the participation, acceptance, and maturity. So you can look at all these figures for Pakistan investment bonds fixed, Pakistan investment bonds floater in this diagram, and this is for treasury bills. And in this lower part of this diagram we can see Sukuk auction profile for fixed and float for the fiscal year 23, and the data is in rupees billion. So if you sum up all these, then it seems that there is a lot of total public debt on Pakistan. It's badly caught up in this vicious circle of public debt. Now we come to Pakistan external public debt, which is obtained from three major sources, and these three sources are loans from multilateral development partners including IMF and bilateral countries. Total external debt from IMF and other multilateral development agencies constitutes 55% of the total public external debt, and 23% of the Pakistan external debt comes from bilateral countries. The second source of Pakistan external debt is from friendly countries including China and Saudi Arabia, and these constitute 8% of Pakistan external debt. The third source of Pakistan external debt is loans from foreign commercial banks, which constitute around 8%. These loans are mostly short to medium term. The detail can be seen in these two figures. One is diagram and one is this table. You can see the entire comparison from fiscal year 18, fiscal year 19, fiscal year 20 up to March 2023. Finally, we can see the impact of exchange rate fluctuations on the size of the various sources of debt. And the question is finally, what is the way forward? So the way forward is that the government strategy to reduce its debt burden to a sustainable level includes commitment to run primary budget surpluses, maintain low and stable inflation, promote measures that support long-term sustainable economic growth, and follow an exchange rate regime based on economic fundamentals. Additionally, the government is also committed to ensure fiscal discipline through revenue mobilization and expenditure rationalization and maintain debt sustainability over medium term. With a narrow fiscal deficit, public debt is projected to enter a firm downward path, while structure and expansion of debt instrument base would help to meet the financing requirements efficiently. In addition to these, Pakistan should also reduce corruption. It should strengthen good governance. The politicians should stop corruption, and we must learn how to be patriot and how to do our level best to work for the state, for the government, and stop losing money. My dear followers, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, kindly subscribe to the channel, and do not forget to click on bell icon so that you can get notification of my other videos that will be uploaded for you. Thanks for watching this video. Kindly share this channel with your friends, with your colleagues, with your students, so that the benefit of this channel could reach to the maximum possible number of people. Thank you. See you in another video.